Hi, I'm Andrew from Always English. In today's lesson, we're going to have a look at how to use past continuous. By the end of today's lesson, you should be familiar with the form and the many common uses of past continuous. There are two basic tenses, past simple and past continuous. If you have a look up here, I did a video last week about past simple. Have a look at that, but watch this video first. With past simple, we use that when we want to talk about an action that happened at a specific time in the past. With past continuous, we use that to talk about an action that happened over a period of time. And this is the form we use. Subject plus the verb to be in the past, we use was or were, plus the verb in its base form, plus ing. Let's have a look at some examples of when to use past continuous. Firstly, we can use past continuous when we want to talk about an action that was happening when another action happened. I was cooking dinner when they arrived. I was sleeping when you called. We often use past continuous when we want to tell a story about something we experienced or something that happened in the past. For example, I was cleaning my house when my phone rang. Or, I was swimming in the sea when I saw a jellyfish. And we can also use past continuous to talk about something that was happening for an extended period of time. She was studying for hours. I was traveling all night. We can also use past continuous if we want to refer to something which was happening in a specific moment or at a specific time. For example, at 8 a.m. this morning, I was drinking coffee. Last night at 6 p.m, I was getting on the train. And also, if you want to refer to something that always happened in the past, you can also use past continuous. For example, you could talk about the girls and you could say they were always laughing at school. Or she was always smiling when I saw her. Now, with all of the examples that I've given you so far, you can see that one action was happening when another action happened. So we've got the action that was happening in past continuous and the action that happened in past simple. But we can also refer to two actions that were happening simultaneously in the past. For example, I was reading while Jerry was cooking dinner. It's important to know with stative verbs, we don't usually use them with continuous forms. With a stative verb, they refer to a state of being rather than an action. So some actions, we've got jump, walk, climb, laugh, sing, and with stative verbs, we've got like, love, believe, desire, hate. Let's have a look at some examples of stative verbs in the past. I was loving her for a long time. So we can't use I was loving her, and we need to change that to I loved her for a long time. Another example, I was knowing they were friends. We can't say was knowing, and we would use past simple and say I knew they were friends. Okay, let's have a look at some affirmative and negative sentences and also some questions. Let's start by having a look at some affirmative sentences. I was eating. He was eating. She was eating. It was eating. We were eating. You were eating. They were eating. And next, we've got some negative sentences. With the negative sentences, we can contract was not, and that becomes wasn't. With positive affirmative sentences, it's not possible to make a contraction. Let's have a look. I was not eating becomes I wasn't eating. He was not eating, he wasn't eating. She was not eating, she wasn't eating. It was not eating, it wasn't eating. You were not eating, you weren't eating. We were not eating, we weren't eating. They were not eating, and they weren't eating. Next, I want to have a look at some questions. Now, with questions, you can also add a question word to the beginning, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. So we've got, was I eating? Was he eating? Was she eating? Was it eating? Were we eating? Were you eating? Were they eating? And like I mentioned before, we've got the question words who, what, why, when, which, how, and we can place a question word at the beginning of the question. Let me show you some examples. Why was she crying? What were they eating? Where were you drinking? In order to change the spelling of the verb into its correct continuous form, we need to have a look at the verb ending. Let's have a look at some examples. Okay, with most verbs, we simply add ing to the end of the base form. For example, work, we add ing and it becomes working. Or talk, we add ing and it becomes talking. Now, if the verb ends with the letter E, we need to remove the letter E and add ing. For example, take becomes taking, and hike becomes hiking. When the verb ends in ie, we remove the ie, add y, then add ing. For example, lie becomes lying, and tie becomes tying. And also, if the verb ends in consonant, vowel, consonant, we need to double the last letter. For example, with stop, we add an extra P and add ing. With run, we add another N and then add ing and it becomes running. It's time to do some practice. Are you ready? You need to grab your notepad if you haven't got it already and grab a pen or a pencil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a sentence to you in present continuous and I want you to change it into past continuous. Are you ready? Let's practice first with positive sentences. Number 1, I am writing a book. How would you change that into past continuous? Are you ready for number 2? He is preparing for an exam. Number 3, the baby is crying. Write your answer down on your notepad. Number 4, the children are playing a game. What would that be in past continuous? Right, let's have a look at a few negative sentences. Change these sentences into past continuous. I am not sleeping. Have you got it? Number 6, they are not singing. What is it? Number 7, it's not working. What's that in the past? And now we've got 3 more questions, and these are in the question form in present continuous, and I want you to change them into past continuous. Number 8, what are you doing? Are you ready for number 9? Excellent. Where are you going? And finally, number 10, why is she crying? And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, drop your questions in the comments and I'll see you soon.